Sunday evening, talk a little baseball, improve our coaching, understand our philosophy and what we're trying to do to get better, to change the culture of Anoka Ramsey baseball. Tonight we have another guest speaker joining us to talk a little bit about infield play. And hopefully we can get a lot of interaction going, talk about some of the drills, and then kind of go from there. So, hand it over to Don here.
Yeah,
and get started.
This is kind of a whole series of speakers we've had going on. Most of you guys have been able to make it, and this is our third session. We have a fourth one coming up in January with Brian Robbie coming in. He's going to talk about I believe it's January 15th. It's on a Tuesday night because he has hockey commitments on Sundays, and as we all have crazy schedules. He's coming in on Tuesday to talk, the 15th of January, to talk about how to get a run when you really need one, and how to also defend that. Kevin Bross is coming back in February to talk hitting, and Scott, I believe we have another one going on either March or April, more of an interactive kind of deal.
April, I think it's the 5th, is the annual coaches clinic. Over at Adrenaline.
Yeah, and then March was also, I believe, set aside for just kind of more of a roundtable discussion.
Yeah, March 24th is going to be kind of preparing for the season.
Yeah.
We're just kind of talking baseball.
Yeah. And tonight, Todd Spranker's in here. He's the head coach at Cambridge Isanti. He's also our president of our Coaches Association. And when I helped Mark and helped Scott put these things together and line up speakers, I was trying to think, all right, what can this association do to set itself apart from the programs that surround it? And I talked with Andover last week. I've been talking with Coon Rapids and the things that we're doing here. And they're very jealous of what's happening here. And so when you hear upcoming speakers, spread the word and see how many people you can get out. But they would also like to have in on it because the topics and the things we're discussing and the people we're bringing in really have a lot of interest for them as well. But Todd is, like I say, head coach at Cambridge, and he really does a great job with his infielders. And Todd being probably my best friend in coaching and one of my very, very good friends, just out in the field as well. And when I think about who do I want to talk to, who would I want to have invited out here to talk about fielding, his teams just always take fielding very seriously. They have a great approach. They play the game the right way. And kind of like when I talked about Brian Robbie coming in, he coached at Forest Lake a few years when my team, we would play at Andover and play against Brian's teams, and we'd be 1-1 in the 5th, 1-1 in the 6th, and darn it if they'd get a run, and they'd figure out a way. And we thought we had a way to counter that, but they also had defensively a way to counter that as well. So that's, so I know whenever I want to have somebody tell me, and I'm probably going to be swiping some secrets from him too, how do you get a run? Well, next month you'll be able to hear that. But Todd and I have coached against each other, worked together quite a bit, and great speaker, and just wanted to say that tonight will probably be about 45 minutes. At 8 o'clock, plenty of time to gab and ask questions. If you got a couple coaches you coach with, be a good chance to kind of hang out and just talk baseball, a little kind of round table-ish. But for the next 45 minutes, I hope you guys get something out of the infield part. We got a few guys here that will demonstrate. So, without further ado, Todd Spranker.
All right, thank you guys. I really appreciate this opportunity. Kind of a lofty introduction there, Don. I hope I can live up to the expectation. But really, what you guys have going on here is awesome. It's Sunday night in December. It's 18 degrees out, and we're 93 days away from opening up our spring season, and here we are talking baseball. One of my favorite things to do, and like Don said, hopefully you can get something out of here. I go to many clinics, and my goal every time I go to sit in the audience is to get one thing. And I always get more than that, but if you get one thing from what I say tonight, your time has been well spent, I think. Because quite frankly, everything I've done and I've taken have been out in those seats from somebody that's been up here, and I've just taken it from them, stolen it, and generally I adapt it to what we do and put my own little spin on it, and it applies to us, and that's how I got where I am. So, Don, I appreciate this opportunity to come here, and I have a lot of mutual respect. There's a lot of mutual respect from the two of us, we work together pretty closely on a lot of things. So you guys have a great leader and a great resource, that's for sure. So I know you rely on him. Continue to do that. He is a great leader. Basically, what I like to lay out, first of all, philosophy, just quickly, so you kind of know what it is I'm doing when you see some of the things I demonstrate. I'll talk quickly about practice organization, because I think that's real important. You see my outline there. And then I'll get into infield fundamentals and drills. So quickly talk a little bit about general philosophy. I guess there's two great coaches / managers that I adapt my philosophy from. The first one, basketball coach John Wooden. Of course, he had pretty good success. He's got 8 laws of learning he talks about. First one's explanation. Second one, demonstration. Number 3, imitation. Number 4, repetition. Number 5, repetition. Number 6, repetition. Number 7 is repetition. And number 8, I think you can probably guess, is repetition. So basically, you're going to tell kids something, you got to show them it, they're going to imitate you, and you got to keep doing it over and over again. Basic philosophy, but that's kind of what I try to keep it simple, stupid, and that's how I approach my philosophy with what I do infield-wise. The last one is kind of how I structure, how I run my team, and how my expectations of my kids. Heard Tom Kelly speak at St. John's University probably about in the early 90s, mid-90s. Basically made one quote that I wrote down, and he said, you got to respect the game, or it's going to reach up and slap you in the face. And that just resonated with me. And you know, you talk about what is respect for the game of baseball. Well, I mean, whether you're talking hustle, you know, whether you're talking being gritty on defense, taking an extra base, and all those little things that you can coach are big things in my eyes. You know, when I look at how I structure getting my guys ready for games and things, my firm belief, and you can see it listed there, practice is for us. The games are when the kids get that chance to perform. You know, I'm probably, and I'll say it, I'm probably an oddball, but I love practice. I would take a practice to, you know, I love hitting fumble. I love giving repetitions. You know, and I'm probably a minority amongst my peers too. I love indoor practice. You give me a space like this, you know, we don't have mecca facilities in Cambridge, Isani. I've got basically a basketball court that I can use with at the end where the bleachers are, I can hang a hitting tunnel. So I got to make do with what I got. And we make darn sure that we got our time structured well, and we also get tons of reps in a short period of time. So, you know, I mean, we are always constantly looking at ways we can improve on what we do. But my goal with practice is always to make it goal-oriented. Always asking myself, what do we need to work on? And that's self-assessment, and that's talking with my coaches too, and figuring out, you know, if we're to fight the ball on defense, we're not giving them enough reps. And if I have to swing the bat 200 times, that's great. I'll swing the bat 200 times in a game or in a practice. But with the drills I'm going to show you here shortly, I don't have to swing the bat 200 times a night. You know, they get a lot of reps just in a short period of time with our fundamentals that we do on a daily basis. You know, and also when you look at our seasons, about 13 weeks from start to finish. So when we get the opportunity to get them in, we got to make the most of our time, and we got to keep them focused, and we got to make sure that we're getting what we want accomplished. The other thing I always say when I talk about philosophy of practicing in the game and things like that, you know, I have a staff of myself and 2 other guys. I coach the infield, I coach hitting, and I can coach the other things, but I let my guys coach. You know, you've got people that are passionate, that love the game as much as you all do. Let them coach. You know, there's sometimes that, you know, ultimately when you're a head coach, the buck stops with you, but let your coaches coach is my philosophy. Anyway, so, you know, and I also talk a little bit about just general philosophy. We'll do some competition type stuff just to keep it, you know, to keep it exciting and try to do some game-like situations. But, you know, we try to really focus on fundamentals. You know, and that's part of making it fun, competition, but getting those fundamentals in. And that's really the big part of my philosophy. The other part of my philosophy, and we were talking about it before this started, is encouraging kids to play multiple sports and competing. I want competitors. I want guys that are thirsty to compete. And we live in a day and age where we got a lot of specialization. And I'm a dad myself. My daughter is a hockey player, and we've caught ourselves up in the spring of playing hockey. And so she's not gotten into the softball part of it, but because she loves hockey and she wants to keep doing those things, so that's what we've supported her in. But I want a competitor. That's going to be one of the number one things I look for in a guy, whether I'm looking at an infielder, guy in the mound, guy behind the plate. I want a competitor. So, and I come from a school, we have 400 kids in a class, so that means I've got about 200 kids to choose from. My senior class this year is 4. I have 4 kids in my senior class, so that play baseball. So the biggest senior class I end up with is about 10, maybe 11. So, at one point we have about over 400 kids in our travel association, and I understand your numbers are 750, 800. So, I rely on a kid to compete in other sports and then play baseball too. So that's, I guess, my biggest thing is just focusing on kids to play multiple sports, and when they're young, play multiple positions. But you've got to find kids that are trying in different spots. So when I think about practice organization and I think about how I organize my infield, the number one thing is that I got to make sure I'm on the same page with my coaches. My coaches know my philosophy. They know my what I'm going to do, probably sometimes better, my next move better than I do. But it's great to have that communication. For me, it's whether it's a text message or an email, that communication is huge. What we're going to do and what we need to work on. So I think that's big. We basically get about 30 to 35 practices a year. Great weather. Last year we had 34 practices. We lost 1 date to weather. So we generally have them in for about 2.5 hours a day, and we will spend at least an hour every day on defense. That's how big it is in our my philosophy. So other things that I do with regard to practice, I'd say my coaches are on the same page. But my kids, every time I teach from a lesson plan, and so I coach from one too, and I post it in the dugout so my kids can see what's next. And they know that I'm going to stay on schedule, and they're going to work hard for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but dang it, coach is going to stay on schedule, and we're not going to waste time. So we've always got them structured and moving around. So when we look at that, then moving from practice organization into our goal of our defense, I guess, again, sticking with that philosophy, but, we want to make the outs outs. Simple philosophy, simple strategy, but the routine play. So when you talk about a routine play, you're talking about 10, 15 feet around you. Make that play and make it consistently. If you can do that, you're going to be very competitive. And that's our main focus. So, we're focusing on that type of mentality constantly. And with our new bats that we have in the high school, we've got to be able to make the play. We have to. You just can't allow extra chances. So, basically, and I threw this number out, and I don't even know why I came up with 93%, but my philosophy is we got to field at 93% or higher. It's not based on any statistic. It's not based on any research. I just picked it one day. And I think it's been pretty good for us. If you just think about some of these numbers. In 2011, we fielded at 92%, which was pretty close. 2012, we fielded at 94%. Between those 2 years, we won 25 games. Now, we also had some pretty good pitching, but 25 games in 2 years, we won with a pretty good fielding percentage there that factored out. In 2008, when we set the school record for wins, we fielded at an astounding 96%. I had great athletes. It wasn't anything that we were doing as coaches. I had some great players, some great pitchers, so dumb luck strikes you sometimes too. But what we focus on specifically, average an error or less a game. Okay, we want to average an error or less a game. So we want to make sure we're giving them tons of reps so it's something that they've seen before in practice. Other goal we have, which is lofty at the high school level, but we want to turn a double play every game if we can. Okay, so that's, but can't accomplish a goal if you don't set it. So we talk about that every day we work on double play footwork. Let's try to get one when we can. I guess the goal on double play, always get that first out. Second out is a bonus if you can get it. Then we talk about, Don and I were down in National Convention last year, and we were talking about freebies and how this guy developed this freebie chart. So I stole it from him. He's talking about freebies. This guy's from Texas. He's had some big time players, but he sent me the chart that he used. So I adapted it to what fit for us, and we keep track of the dugout of the freebies based on balls, hit by pitch, pass balls. We talk about if we let a guy on after he strikes out, if the ball goes to the screen, any error we have, free base of missing a cut or just not being in the right place. Generally, if we can limit our number of freebies, we're going to win the game. If we beat them in the freebie war, we're generally going to win the game. So that's, I guess, consistently what we look to do. Now, I always feel like it's okay to get beat and tip your cap to somebody that just outperforms you, but we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose a game that we just walk away going, how did we leave plays on the field? And that's part of when you get into the philosophy of looking at some of these drills, that's what it's all based on. So, and I believe that baseball is a game of pitch and catch, and if you're going to play it better, than the other person, you're generally going to win the game. If you look where I've got some of the infield fundamentals and stuff, what are you looking for in an infielder? Of course, you want an athletic, competitive guy. For me, it's a multi-sport athlete. I mean, it doesn't mean they're going to play a lot for me just because they play multi-sports, but you want a guy that's been in a competitive situation, okay? You want a guy that's been competing, whether it's on the wrestling mat, hockey rink, whatever it's been. You want a guy that's been there before. You want a guy that's got some quick feet, can move laterally, cover some ground. Clearly, the biggest thing you want is soft hands and a quick release, all right? And those are the things that we focus on a lot in our drill work. We want a guy, of course, that's going to lead, that's confident, not cocky, but confident. Want him aggressive, we talked about having range, and somebody that's going to lead by command, vocal, okay? So when we get into talking about what we look at as far as demonstrating our three positions that we talk about, okay? We're going to talk relaxed position, we're going to talk ready position, and we're going to talk fielding position. Those are the three things that we work from. And it starts day one, and I even start in our 7-year-old camps and work all the way up. But essentially, when we're talking relaxed position, for me, I don't try to put guys into, this is my belief, you have to be this way. I let a lot of individuality go, whether I'm talking hitting or fielding. There's a few fundamentals I expect, but everybody's going to be different. Relaxed position for me, can be glove on your hip, can be glove up here, but that's the time pitcher's getting the ball back from the catcher, and we're thinking about, at this time too, a little mental game. All right? What's the count? At our level, that could matter on pitch selection. Maybe it could matter on our hitting chart we got on the guy. I know in some, obviously in the lower levels, you're not doing that stuff, but we're charting guys, so we know. And it's that point when you're thinking about, you're trying to flush anything that happened at the plate. We always tell our guys to don't take it to the field, because the baseball gods always find a way. If a guy gets called out on strike 3, sure enough, where's the first ground ball go? To the guy that just struck out, and he's not mentally through with it yet, and he's going to kick a ball for us. And it happens frequently. It'd be interesting to track that statistic. But anyway, these are the times, you don't want to expend too much energy. You're relaxing, you're focused, you're thinking about, okay, what's the next, what's this guy done? What am I going to do with the ball if it's hit to me, type of thing. The ready position, that's the next part of it, and that's, you better be into that position when that ball gets into the hitting zone. Okay? So our ready position, we're going to be moving forward toward the plate, and we're going to be in a good athletic stance. Okay? We want to be in a good athletic stance. We want this, palm out. Okay, my butt's down. Good way to drill it. You can, if you're inside in a spot like this, I'd have kids just sitting in the chairs, getting used to it, and their hands out in front, and I'd roll them baseballs. Okay? Or you could use the spaz ball, bouncy ball that we'll show you later too, that fits right in. So they just get in that good ready position, that athletic position. Okay? So I want them to be loose. I want them to be focused. I want them to be moving toward the ball. We talked about being aggressive. I want them coming forward, moving their feet. And then this top hand, of course, is out front. So I'm out here, getting ready to field the baseball, thinking about what I'm going to do with it when it's hit to me. Want the baseball. And then I get out in front. Of course, I just talked about it. But we're going to take 2 steps, field the ball into the middle part of our body, or toward my left foot for a right-handed thrower. Okay? I'm fielding it toward my left foot. The reason why is because I want to go that way. I want my momentum going towards first base. And most of my throws as an infielder are going to be to the left. So I want to make sure that it's there. I also want, and I got a big body, so it's easy for me to say, but I want my guys being big. I want them big so if it does take a bad hop, they can knock it down and still have a chance. So they can still have a chance to throw a guy out. So those are the big things. You know, you can talk about what I talk about with the young kids. I always say, imagine you got a flashlight in your glove. Shine it right toward the baseball. That's where you always want it. That's number one when you're thinking about fielding. The other thing you want to imagine, if you can't use that visual, is that there's a big funnel that comes up from the ground right to your belly button. That's how you want to funnel everything up. And you field with 3 hands, I always tell them. 1, glove, top hand is your throwing hand, and then use your belly. And they should always see the top of your cap. As you funnel it up, and gather yourself, make a good throw. So those are really the big coaching points for me as far as I'm concerned. Those are the basic fundamentals. And you know, making that feed. And I give them a visual too to shoot for the heart as far as making a good throw. Hit the guy in the chest, shoot the window. Okay, right here you want to give him something he can handle. Okay, so those are basic stances and just approach to the game there, and are some of the coaching points that we use routinely. As far as daily throwing routine, I put it down on the handout. You can look through it, but you know, I know you guys have talked throwing plenty, and so I put it on there, let you know that we take about 10 drills on a daily basis, and we do them, and throwing is one of them. And it's just probably 15, 20 feet apart, and we'll just start with 1 knee. We'll go 2 knee, always shooting for the heart. Probably take 10 reps at each shot. We always want them to get 4 seams, and the ball goes straighter. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we'll have them simulate a ground ball, or say standing bent knee. We'll just have them facing one another. If I'm facing the wall, my partner's over there. We'll have them simulate a ground ball, stepping toward their target, and just make a good throw. So again, that whole repetition of standing, of just standard fundamental type stuff. So then we'll shorten up with, we'll have them come together with just quick toss. And it's a minute. I put a stopwatch on it and give them a minute. All I want them to do is catch the ball, set their feet, and throw. Quick as they can, trying to shoot, catch the ball with 2 hands, bringing it up to the chest, and getting rid of it. Okay? The last drill that we do, and this is where I'll take these guys, if I get Scooty out there, just with your glove and with the ball. We better use tennis ball. You can come over here. You did that. Okay, watch the ball in front of you. Again, I do this with both my 7-year-olds and my varsity players, and we do these drills March 18th to our last practice, whenever that might be in June. Anyway, okay, so I talked about ready position. I want you in ready position. Show me your ready position. Okay? So when I say go, I want you to field it. Okay? Go. Funnel it up, set your feet, and throw. Okay, but I can bird dog it too a little bit. I can go a little slower. Put it out in front of you. Okay, just real simple. Ready? Field it. Boom, boom. Bring it up, set, and throw. Okay? So at this point, I can check everything just one more time. And this is how we end our throwing drills every day. Go. Oh, use your glove. Make sure you're using your glove to come through the baseball. All right, here we go. Ready? Field it. Throw. And you can go real slow. I can go one more time. Okay? So I'll say, you respond. Ready? Okay? Field it. And hold it. Bring it up to your belly. Now throw it. Set your feet and make a throw. So I can break it down step by step, just real simple by simple command. Okay? Ready? Field it. Bring it up. Throw it. Good. All right, good. Thanks, guys. You can sit down. So just something simple like that. That's one that's, I mean, it's been, you know, something we do on a daily basis, just a simple drill. But it just, you can look at all the fundamentals, the things we talked about. Glove out. Okay? 2 hands. Funnel to the middle. Set your feet. Make a good throw. So simple stuff. All right, next drill that we use, if I can get two of you out here again, you can come on out. Actually bring all three up, and you can put two over here, one over there. Yeah, that'd be great. You can lose your gloves over. Shorten it up, be closer to one another, okay? Go over here, just go over here, okay? This is a simple drill. I want you to sit in fielding position, just like this, okay? And I want you, when you field it, bring it up, and then roll it back to one of those two guys. And stay here in fielding position, okay? Put your hands out, roll it to them. Bring it up, roll it to them. There you go. And you can just gradually make it to a circle. I always feel like if you can field with no hands, you're going to be able to field with a paddle, which ultimately putting a glove on is a huge bonus. Okay? Good. Now, spaz ball, where'd that go? Stay with no gloves. Doesn't have to be, and this just thrown in for fun. Just roll it nice and soft, fielding position, hands out front. Okay, hands out front. Coming forward toward that ball. Come toward the ball. Okay, keep yourself big, it's all right. Coming toward the baseball. There you go, good. All right, good, you guys can sit for just a second. So on that type of stuff, I'll start with no glove. We'll start with, then we'll go to paddles, okay, which, you know, I use a foam one. This is fancy, but I've even done where I've taken a sheet of plywood and I've taken this shape, traced it on it, and just cut it out. You know, it cost me maybe whatever it was for a sheet of plywood, and then I just put a strap behind it, Velcro strap or something. So it teaches that soft hands, and again, if they can field with that in their bare hands, the glove is a bonus. So anyway, we want to then graduate. If I can get partners again, you guys can all come out. That's just fine. Yep, want your gloves this time. Want your gloves. Next one I have them do just partnered up. All I'm going to have you do, put your glove on. Okay? I'm going to have you sit with it on the ground and your throwing hand behind your back. Okay, so sitting in fielding position. Glove out in front of you. And we need tennis ball. All I'm looking for here, and again, these are just rapid fire reps. They just know to go to one drill to the other. What I want them to do is to bring up dirt with that glove every time. So that glove's on the ground. We want to work from ground up. So go ahead, you can take your hand out and throw it to. Bend your knees a little bit. There you go. Take it out, roll it to your partner. Good. You funneled everything up. Glove should stay down on the ground. Bring it up to the middle. Good. Now add your throwing hand. Glove on the ground, same fundamentals. Got your glove on the ground, funnel it up. Good. Okay, good. Just stand and hold the ball. So that's just, you know, probably take 10, 15 reps. Then you can go short hops. Okay? Same type of thing, glove hand behind your back. Okay? Now look to go one hop. Okay? Keep your glove down. This just teaches them to work down and up. Down and up. Keep it in front of you, make yourself big. Good. Good.
Just going here, this can be done partners, this can be done as a triangle, as a square.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
I mean, you can use this, and you look at, we don't have, you know, there's not a lot of space here, but you can sure make use of it, and pretty easy. Don, will you jump in for four corners so I can demonstrate four corner? Again, this is another of the four corner drill. Basically, takes into account all these things. The first thing we do First thing I do is drop your gloves, okay? And we can have you guys just stand back a little bit, okay? All I'm going to have you do is throw it to your partner. Throw it to him right there. Don's going to throw it over here. Throw it. Just throw it. We're going to start with throwing, okay? We're going to set our feet and make our throw. Even if you just lob it. Come toward the ball, hit him toward the heart. And now we've incorporated our throwing piece, our target. And then if we wanted to reverse it, we could do that, or we could do back stuff, which is what we do with our varsity guys. It's a very just simple drill. Okay, hold on to the ball. Then our next thing that we do that barehanded. Then we go to the paddles, then we go to the gloves. Okay, we start with the four-corner drill barehanded here. All he's going to do, okay, you're going to roll the ball across the middle. Since all our throws in the infield are toward the left, you're going to field it, throw to your left, throw to your left. Don's going to get it, throw it across the middle, field it, throw to your left. This way. That's okay. That's all right. Give it. Yeah, give it back to him. Roll it across the middle. Right here to Don. You field it, throw to his left. Field it, throw to your left. What I add to this, you generally have, you can hold on to it. Generally, I have 4 or 5 guys in each line, and I use it as a conditioner. Okay, so they follow their throw across the middle. Okay, so when you roll the ball, let's have you roll the ball and follow the ball. Run with it. Roll it to Don and follow it. Go across, and you field it. Roll it across the middle, follow your throw. Okay, good. And we run out of people, but okay, good. You can hold on to it. So that's just a simple, I use it as a conditioner, I use it for fundamentals, and I use it with bare hands, paddles, and then the gloves. The simple stuff there. We kind of showed the next one that I had listed, which was the circle drill. And we use that basically, what I'll do at camp with really young guys, we make a circle and we have competition. How many can we field in a row? And we try to get, then we have a couple groups going, and losers do push-ups or something like that. Something just crazy. They compete with one another to focus on doing it right. So just little simple things like that. We're going to go to the wall drill. Okay? So the next drill that we do, you can use a bounce back screen if you're outside. For us, what we do in our gym, we'll take a circle or a square on the wall that will represent our target. And here we're not going to do it to wreck anything. We'll try to throw low. But what I do in this is I'll have them, so I'll be the first one to throw. Okay? So I'm going to just make sure they're in ready position. Okay, ready? Okay. What's up?
I got backups here.
Okay. I always have an extra ball. Okay? So all he's going to do is react to it. When you field the ball, you're going to throw it against the wall. Okay? And then you be ready. You're next. Okay, get ready. You're next. Then go to the back of the line. Field it and move. And in all this, you can look at their fundamentals. Glove down, fielding the ball, coming at it. To the left of the body, under control, nice and easy. Not a competition, not a conditioner, just relax. And you can vary it up. Glove out in front of you when you're creeping forward. Okay? Quiet hands moving toward the ball. Keep those hands off the front of you. Good. Skip one off the floor now. Good. See, then you can vary it up on a real slow roller. Anyway, you can hold on to it. So you can use a bounce back screen. I looked at one online just the other day. They're $99. And have it and you use it every single day as when you're outside. So basically, those are the primary drills that we do. You can see, there's more than there's some concepts in there that would account for more than 10 drills, but those are our fundamentals. And every day is a fundamental day for me as far as I'm concerned. And the kids know it. This is what we're going to do day one, and they're going to do it last practice too. Any questions on any of those drills?
Can I throw it all?
Yep, go ahead.
Cody, you want to go there? One thing I do, it's called the Joe Torre drill. And I don't know why it's called Joe Torre drill, but face the wall, get in a good fielding position. And it's just an individual type of thing. The coach behind can do a lot of coaching with it. I'm going to throw
throw it against the wall, and Cody's going to field it. And he doesn't know which way it's coming. It could be over his right shoulder, over his left shoulder, sometimes between his legs. It's a great drill for corner infielders. And he's just going to flip it back, and then he's done. Try again. Oh, we'll use the smush first. Let's let him graduate from smush. Kind of a weird feeling when it's going like that, right? It's just all about reaction. And then, you can make it a little tougher. Put in a tennis ball. Comes off the wall a little faster. Underneath. So, it's just a nice little way of, the hands, it's just like what Todd was saying. Bring it up to the gut, shuffle, and then just flip it back to your coach. Try a couple more. And I'll do some variations, and I'll change things up. You gotta be a hockey goalie. Any of you ever play that knee hockey in your kitchen and all that stuff? Yeah, you gotta be a little bit of a hockey goalie here. That's where that multi-sport part comes in. And it gets competitive. And you can say, oh, I scored 10 goals. Well, how many shots did you take? And you can just say, keep me from scoring. Flip a shutout here. NHL lockouts going, and I miss my hockey. All right, that was just one I thought I'd throw in.
Good. Absolutely. Any other questions? And it's elementary, really. It's just basic, but it's stuff that, again, that works. And we teach it at a young age, and you'd be amazed the number of reps. And we haven't even swung a fungo yet. And I bet you we easily get between 50 and 75 reps in about 15 minutes. And now one coach has swung a fungo. And they're just constantly hands out front, funnel into the middle, set their feet, make a good throw. And we haven't done anything with their arms either for the most part. Just a really light throw. We haven't had them thrown from their positions yet. Nothing. Just simple fundamentals, making the plays. So when we get beyond those, then we break out into specialization stuff. We'll work on double play footwork. We'll have our corners working on digs and tags, and our third baseman doing slow roller stuff. They get into a little variety of different things. Then once we're done with that session, that's when we start our ground balls. And that's, for us, we have two coaches that are hitting fungo. We got buckets going. I bet you our kids field probably 4 buckets a night between the two of us hitting them. And then not to mention what we do in competition part, which is the game-like situation that I've got listed down at the very bottom.
Hey, so,
yep.
What do you typically see when, you're going through drills at the beginning of the year, and you're really working on conditioning, repetition. When the kids get tired, what's the first thing that generally happens to a defensive player? Are you seeing their footwork going? Is it more the hands? Is it just more mentally? They're just not...
Combination of them all. Yeah. But you'll generally just start seeing a bad approach to the baseball. They'll get lazy. They'll lose some part of their fundamentals. They won't approach it well. They won't get both hands on the ball. Might get a lazy throw. You may not point the shoulder to square up and make your good throw. Might sail one. Yeah, when they get fatigued, they'll generally make some mistakes. All of those things that you mentioned, for sure. But that's why, for me, when last year was we weren't inside at all. We started our tryout on March 18th or 19th outside, which never happened. And I felt like our fundamentals suffered as a result. We didn't get to do. We did them outside, but they weren't as focused and they weren't as well done. Because it's easy to get distracted when it's nice. Get the track team running by. You get lots of distractions. So, lots of things kind of go downhill with that. Good question. Any other questions?
Duration, maybe I missed it. Each of these drills you run them for a set time or go until they look like they're starting to not?
Generally, I can get through all those drills in about 10 minutes with a varsity team. We go from one to the other. It's just rapid repetition. So, they know that we're going to switch to the next one quick. So, yeah, probably for us, it's going to be, once we get into double play footwork, it'll be 15 minutes. Then we're hitting fungos at that point. So
younger age groups, what would you recommend? Would you recommend a set time to go through it to make sure that you're doing things right?
See, for me, I don't even know if I'd get through all these. When I run camps, I may not get through like the first session, 2 things. I want to make sure they're comfortable in their stance, aggressive in baseball. Then I look when we're doing just these fundamental things with their hands. Are both hands out in front? Are they bringing everything to the middle? I mean, there's a lot of correcting coaching that goes on. Just even with that shuffle drill of throwing the ball, you can see guys that will have a tendency to reach down for the ball with their bare hand when that ball's sitting there instead of as you're trying to just fundamentally bring them up. So for me, it's a general graduation. I have about 3 or 4 sessions of camping with my young group. Finally get through it in the last session where they finally got everything put together. So I mean, you got to. I don't know how long your practices would be when you have kids, or even if you have indoor time with them. Do you have indoor time with them?
Most teams do, yeah. We're going to be having some indoor practices. So.
Yeah, so I mean, you
Usually
could.
about an hour.
Okay. So in that, I'm sure you're going to incorporate hitting and all that. So I don't know how long you'd have to devote to fielding, but for me, even with the varsity team, the first 25-30 minutes are just talking about just basic fundamentals and then getting into drills. So timeline, if you get through a couple drills, I guess a night, if you have, say you have 20 minutes with them, that's good, in my opinion. So, other questions? So for us, then, I'll just close this out, and then you can ask other questions if you think of anything. But when I talk about wanting them in game-like situations, there's 2 things I do down at the bottom. 21 out Pepperdine drill, and again, anything you want more information from on me, I've got a book that I'm not writing a book, I'm not selling a book. I put things together for me. And I just have it in all my drills and everything. I'd be more than happy to share anything I have with you. So if there's anything that you're interested in, you want to talk to me after or send me an email because it's on here. I share whatever I have. But we play 21 out. And basically, there's 21 outs in a high school game. And we'll vary the situation. We basically, you can do it where kids throw it up with a fungo and they hit it. Coach can hit it. And we don't quit till we get all 21. If we get to 19 and we screw up, we start at 0. So it might be some longer practices, but we get in there and try to focus. The way to really keep kids engaged and rolling people through different situations, we just have somebody soft toss them, and now you're incorporating hitting and fielding. You just play the ball live off of a short toss. Heck, you can even throw a tee on home plate, let them hit off a tee. And do that. Something simple but you expose them to the game situations, and you also incorporate the focus of defense. And you can see when you get to 19 outs and somebody screws up, they don't want that to happen, so it gets that focus down. And the Pepperdine drill, basically, there's, when I talk about practice organization, and I drive around our community, and I've seen some of the nights where there are 1 guy throwing batting practice, 12 young kids standing around looking at the sky. Maybe somebody's picking dandelions because we don't have the greatest grass in some parts of our district, but they're picking dandelions and they're bored. 1 guy throwing, 1 guy hitting for however many cuts, and then there's generally a couple coaches on the side maybe BSing about what their day was like, or maybe about how bad the Twins were the night before, or how good the Twins were the night before, whatever the case might be. What we do with Pepperdine drill is this gets everybody involved. We're playing out every situation, got coach throwing, or you can even underhand toss it. And we're playing live situations, and we play a full game. Just top of the first, nobody on, here we go. Try to get 3 outs, and then we play the situation. The kids are getting hits, so we're using that base running, we're incorporating all of our game situations. Focus is on both sides of defense and offense. And we're trying to, go through a full game. You'd be surprised, we go through a 7-inning game varying up situations like that. It takes us about 20-25 minutes and multiple situations. Kids have had 3-4 at bats. It's good stuff. So that's generally how we'll close out our practice. So if you were to look at how we organize our stuff, or how I organize our stuff, we're defense heavy, and I think you can probably figure that out from what you hear. And not that I'm a huge guy in scoring runs and hitting and running and all that stuff, but defense is what really is the cornerstone. And so that's where we devote a lot of our time. At the very bottom, I listed a couple of great resources. Just excellent stuff on this baseball by the arc. I heard a guy refer to it a couple weeks ago when we were at the national convention, and I went on to it. I mean, there's videos, there's all kinds of great stuff, drill work. This guy has written all this stuff, and it's all free. It's awesome. So it's good stuff for you. If you want to, there's more stuff written up in this. There's a baseball playbook. It's available at Amazon if you want to look at that. I mean, it's real fundamental stuff. It talks about practice organization and all that good stuff for developing a program. So, are there other questions, or Don, anything I might have missed? Go ahead.
Describe your first 10-15 minutes of practice with warming up and any agility or anything like that.
Okay, so we'll generally start our first 15 minutes of practice. Will be, we do our just a quick stretch. We'll do our form run. Then we play catch. When we play catch, I always put our outfielders together. Then I put our infielders together. Our catchers play catch together. That's how we do it. They'll play catch for 15 minutes, and then we'll break into whatever it is. If it's defense, if it's hitting. Generally, it'll go to defense right after we play catch because their arms are loose. So that's our first half hour. But first 15 is stretch and catch for sure. And we'll incorporate a little base running into that too. So they'll get their starts, their jumps. Then somebody simulate a pitcher, and so they can get a read off a righty and a lefty. So, did that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can you talk just briefly about double play footwork?
Sure.
Second base, shortstop, real high level, what you're coaching.
What I coach,
You can also maybe just a first baseman, just a general first baseman. A lot of times, people getting in there and stretching out before the ball hits, or what? How do you coach it? Have them wait for the throw, which leg?
Yep. We'll start with the double play footwork.
Second base.
Yeah, let's have them. Let's have second here, short there, so they're in play. Okay, so when we talk about double play depth, you can get into all the alignment stuff, and it's different with 90-foot bases, but when we're going to play double play depth, we're always going to pinch. We're going to go 2 steps forward. For us, we go 2 steps forward and 2 steps toward the base to align to get ready. So we got to run around first or second. We're going to be at double play depth up the middle. Okay, so we're going to talk double play depth. So they're going to take 2 steps forward, 2 steps toward the middle. So now they're closer to the base. For me, what I tell, there's really not too many ways I teach it at shortstop, because there's really, you're going to field the ball from first or second. Here's a turn on where you're going to take it from the pitcher. You're always going to drag the right foot behind, catch the base, square up. So if you want to basically, go ahead, if you want to give him a toss. So if he runs his footwork, it's just basically going to touch the back corner of the base.
One thing I'd also want to say about second base and playing second base is you want your second baseman as wide and low as they can be. You want that throw coming up at a good angle. I don't know if you said that or not.
No, I didn't get in that.
You want that throw coming up at a nice angle, and it's hard as a guy coming across to field it on a down angle, because you get that kid, you're coming across, and the ball's coming down, and makes your hands do this. You'd like this kid lower so that he's throwing up, so that the ball is towards the chest, and it's easier for him to see it and field it with 2 hands, rather than if I'm up and I'm like this, and he's coming across, and I field it and throw it on a down angle. You just saw what happens. So when you're talking middle infield, I know this is a 12, 13, 14 kind of thing, but your second baseman, it's really key, that feeding guy, get down, make that knee come in contact with the ground, throw up. We're at was it Coomer talk in the fall? Coomer talks to our fall clinics every once in a while, and he's talking about Valencia. Somebody asked him about Danny Valencia. What was his deal? Why did they finally get rid of the guy? And Valencia's thing was, not only did he didn't listen, and he kind of felt he knew everything, But the other thing was, from the third base position, Gardy was really working hard with him trying to stay down and throw up and get that ball to the chest so that Alexi or Nishi or whoever is coming across the bag wasn't fielding it here in a bad position. So, I think it was Swisher who took out Nishi or whatever. But, that second baseman or whoever's fielding that baseball comes across in a bad position, they're vulnerable, And so he was saying, make sure you're down and throw from down here in such a way, and sometimes, it is from 3/4. I mean, it's from down here, but doesn't mean that you're not finishing off your throw out here. But you're getting down here, throwing across, and making sure that that guy can field it here, rather than having to dig, and then all of a sudden here comes a spike right into the side of your shin. It's just, and Valencia wouldn't listen to that. He just kept doing it his own way, and they finally said, we're done. Send him to AAA and have him learn how to hit and field. And so,
that's one thing when he just talked about arm slot there, it just brought up a point. When you drop it down to 3/4, we have our kids in their daily throwing routine as they're going through simulating fielding a ground ball. I have them mess with arm angles, so they get comfortable if in fact they have to drop and make a throw or something to just flip one, that they're at least comfortable that they're still aiming for something.
And there's a second teaching point to that is it's a little bit of an intimidation factor. You got a runner coming in at you, and you got that guy coming down here. He has no choice but to go down, or he's taking it right in the forehead. I mean, it's just a little bit of an intimidation thing, and we don't obviously want to tell the kids, hey, chuck them down here because that kid's going down hard to you. But it does let that middle infield, it's a way to protect themselves. Because you get that guy coming in hard, even though they have to go straight into the base, they still come in hard and they're coming in wide. And it can be kind of scary for a kid his size especially. And they'll take him out. They might not mess with Cody as much, but they'll take Jake out. And he's got to protect himself. So at second base, I'm going to be down here. You guys are going to come across the bag, and you're going to get out of the baseline. So back off a little bit. When my knee hits the floor, you guys start coming across. Ready? Now.
Go ahead.
And I got another one here. Ready?
First one.
Now, that guy receiving is coming across with two hands open. Okay? And he's going to work on catching and dragging, catching and dragging, catching and dragging.
One thing I teach our second baseman, and I'm sure Don does the same thing, but I always teach him, any ball at you or something you have to go toward the base, think about making a toss. And we use the circle drill that we showed earlier, we work on tosses. And basically when we were talking a toss, we don't want to stop short on a toss. I always make the toss and step through like I'm bowling, thumb up. And I want them to come through that ball. So if anything, generally will come and we work on it, basically anything at me, or for sure if I'm going to the base, I want to be thinking toss. And I'm letting that guy know, toss, toss, toss. So he's not expecting a hard throw. So he knows mentally it's going to be a little softer, but I'm going to get it up and get it out.
Yeah, good point. And so I'm gonna be at one knee from a distance, but if I'm closer, I got a couple options. Like I said, I can toss and then try to follow your toss. They call it veering off or following your toss. Here, I'll take your ball here, and I'll do a toss with each one of you guys. Okay? So when I slap, you guys get ready to come across. Get out there.
Okay, throw it to me.
Notice how I didn't just stop. I kept on moving. Next guy. Ready?
First baseman, I got my right. If I'm a left-handed catcher, I put my, I'm as square to the first base as I can be, right foot on it. And again, I'm not stretching until I realize it's going to be a real close play. I mean, I'm not going to be down here because now I can't react to a bad throw. I'm waiting until I can make that judgment of where the runner is, also where my throw is.
And this doesn't have to be done with hitting any fungos. Second baseman can just have a ball in their glove. They can be just right here, and they have three options. They can sink and go. They can have you come across and toss. Of course, I didn't follow my toss because I wanted to teach one more thing. Or I can do the old Alabama option toss like that. You got options there.
One thing we do at Cambridge, I say, and it might be a little different than Andover, I teach a jump pivot. All right, so if I get a guy going this way, I teach him to jump and square. So their front shoulder is at that base. I mean, that's it. So you can drop down, you can toss, you can Alabama option, or you can simply jump pivot and square up. So they're focused on getting everything toward that base.
The beauty of not hitting a fungo in this situation is you can do whatever you want. The kid here has options. They can try things. And you're, as a coach, you're not aiming at a spot. You know, how many times have we tried to hit that ball right where we want to and it just doesn't work? So the kid can have the ball right here and they can go to their left, drop step, and come across. There's all sorts of things. Sometimes, sometimes that ball's hot over here. And you have to field it out here. Boom, drop, throw, and go. All right, a couple more, guys. I'm going to just kind of vary it up. And then I'm going to have you guys come over here. You guys try this. Well, I'm the shortstop, so you better be paying attention. Right? And then if you get a team that's really good at this, they start taking pride in doing this. They start wanting to do this, and it gets pretty fun. All right, you guys are the second baseman. Make up your play. As the shortstop coming across, hands up, fingers high, be ready to step on the base. It doesn't matter what foot you use. It just really doesn't matter. But ideally, left foot out, right foot kick, and back. That's the ideal. Of course, the important thing is get the darn out.
Get one out.
Get the out. Who wants to start? Who wants to make that great creative play?
Smack your glove.
I'm ready for it.
Do what you want to do.
And of course, we all know you don't always have to kick the bag. You can miss it by a little bit too. We've seen that before. All right. So that's an option. And then these guys playing short, sometimes, or second base, maybe you guys want to try a backhand where you've got to race up to the bag and take it yourself. Middle infielders have to talk. These guys haven't said anything yet. I haven't heard flip. I haven't heard toss. I haven't heard boo. So you guys have to let me know what's happening. Otherwise, we're going to have problems when that kid runs into my chin or my knee or my who knows what. Okay? So you guys got to talk. A little louder though, bud. A little louder. I want your mom to hear it.
Let them hear it in theory. On the transfer.
New glove. I'm going to blame it on the new glove. And the beauty of this is not having fungos hit at you. It can slow the game, help them get it right, and then you can speed it up when you want. Good. First base. I heard some talk about first base. Did you play some first base with him?
Yep.
Yeah, I did too. I generally teach my kids to straddle the bag, so my heels are around the bag. I don't want them committing too early to doing this. If they commit too soon and then the throw's up here, we got problems. Or if the throws, most of the time it throws in here. So you want them to be a big target, straddle with their heels, and then make the move after the throw's been released. Which is all important with that four-seam grip. Getting a good grip, getting a good throw to your target. Because if they're throwing with the two, or if they're throwing with the fingers on the seams, and it's riding on you and doing all sorts of dips and doodles, nothing's worse than playing with the guy who can't throw the ball straight. So, heels against the bag, and you can work it. Guys, you're going to be my first baseman. I'm going to make throws. Give me your tennis balls. You got a tennis ball? Okay. All right, so you're going to show me straddled heels, and you're going to go out and get that baseball. Hey, do you guys have a chance to stretch yet? So after you do get those heels around the bag, you're going to hop and get out as far as you can and catch the ball out as far as you possibly can. Right? That's why you want your first baseman. It's just the baseball. It's just tennis balls. It's not a big deal. All right, so I fielded the baseball. Probably got a little anxious and got out there a little bit, but next guy. Fielding the ball. Okay. Fielding the ball. And first base is going to be a position where we want you catching the baseball with one hand. Catch with one hand and get out there as far as you can. Ready?
And if you do get a low throw, the first baseman has to have the mentality, that thing doesn't get to the fence. If we don't get the out, big deal, but we can't give up another base.
We're going to keep doing this. You go ahead and talk about coaching points.
I think that's a big one, is guys got to get in their head, and if the ball's up the line, of course, we'll give up the bag to keep the ball from foul territory, that's for sure. So we don't want to give up extra bases.
Committing a little early there. If you commit early, I'm going to throw a ball back.
What if you commit too late?
If you commit too late, then you got a problem too. Ready? Oh, I also tell my guys at Andover, and this is at the high school level, scoops, they better have 90% of them. Otherwise, they might have a future as a DH. We want to try 90%. Now, of course, at the younger levels, man, we'll take 1 out of 5 sometimes.
So what I do on this too, when we're working our double play footwork, I'll incorporate all 3, short, second, and first. I'll have my first base close the line, just so we don't have to make such long, repetitive throws. But I'll make them throw high, just like he's doing. I'll make them work on digs if they're not already haven't had that in their repertoire, just so they're
The footwork for a high throw is straddle, get on top, and be tall. So I'll try it out without hitting a Christmas light. Ready? Oh, yes, I hit a light. It happened. I'll pretend I threw it. Ready? And show them how high you're going to get. I'll pretend. Yeah, something like that. So. All right, anything else on the first? Wondering about first base? Oh, how about first base turn in a double play? First baseman's up, holding the runner. Of course, they're holding the runner, and I have a technique that I like to use. I like to be square to the pitcher. Some people like to be turned like this, but I notice that when pitchers see a guy turn like this, they get a little nervous because this guy isn't very big now. They throw it back here, and this guy's kind of in trouble. I like to say get squared up and field it like this and get low. You might have a different thought on that. When the runner gets off, you get out here in a fielding position, and if the ball's hit at you, come and get it, and then pivot to the inside for a double play. And then get back if you can, or talk to your pitcher. Anybody else?
Other questions?
Probably a big thing with the little kids, younger age groups, since the throws aren't nearly as accurate as they get older, to let them know it's best to get off the bag, make the catch, and then make the out. I mean, a lot of the young kids get a bad throw, they're going to try to stick on the base, they're going to do everything they can instead of coming off the bag, getting the ball. Right. At the younger age, you see that so much.
These guys want to play wall ball all night.
Any other questions?
From the second baseman, when the second baseman is going to play double play, what's the best way for that? Do they want to cross?
You need short. I'll give you second base. I'll come. I'll be the short. I'm fielding the baseball.
I teach. You're talking second baseman.
Yeah, second baseman.
Whether he comes across, step back. So I'm fielding it. Boom. I'm here. Throwing it to his chest.
Left foot on the base. For me, I teach 3 different techniques, and 2 of them are all left-footed. 2 of them are left-footed primarily. Here, across, coming to the inside, anticipating that throw. So many times our kids will just sit and wait for it instead of meeting the baseball, coming across, and boom. I also teach a spring where they use that as their springboard, come off the throw, or we come across, drag, and then you put yourself in trouble with the slider. So there's I basically, this is the one we use primarily. Boom, come across. So left foot on the base, across.
Yeah, and for me, when we're teaching it, it all depends on the throw. Like I said, come across and make yourself big. So you don't want to be on the bag as the kid's about ready to throw. We want to be close to it, but not on it. Okay? When that throw is in motion, then it's left, right, throw. Just like you normally do. Field a baseball, left, right, throw. Or a catcher comes out of it, it's or a right, left throw. You can do it's just 2 steps in throw, is what I'm saying. So you get across here, boom, across, right here, boom, back. But you don't want to hang. This is what gets you in trouble, right here. Because that runner has rights to the bag too. And your leg, it doesn't bend that way. So get out of the way. And this isn't good either. stepping back, out of all the options, this is the second least desirable, or this is the worst, the second worst, but you know, this is obviously the cardinal sin. Keep yourself out of this position.
Well, what we do is we teach little dance step after. We'll take sliding mats and we'll throw them at the kids so they got to leap out of the way. 95% of our kids will take left foot on the base, step across.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way.
And then you just do that with reps. You know, just like I said, if you can get a couple drills a night and build on those, be more of a scuba diver and get deep on some of these things rather than the jet skier and skimming across a whole ton of property. You know, just get deep on a couple drills and then build on those as you go. It does a world of good when you can do that. So.